Hi everybody.
Hello everybody.
So our Niko had a very exciting birthday.
Oh, Niko did have a very exciting birthday. I less so.
You had a more...
Well, I had an exciting experience, but I can't say that it was entirely positive.
Well, you ended up very scratched.
Yes, I did. I did. Do you want me to regale you
share.
with that story?
Yes, do share.
So I actually think it's quite a good metaphor because I think it is a good description of where my mind goes to when I allow my intellectual machinery to, or actually my ego, I guess, in cahoots with my intellectual machinery, take over my decision-making process.
Okay.
As opposed to following my instincts.
Okay.
So what happened, we were in the dog park yesterday, and when I got to the dog park, all the dogs, and it's a really big dog park, but all the dogs and their owners were at the gate end, as opposed to the mountain end. And I thought, well, that's odd. But as I continued in my in my walking of the dog. Sorry, I'm finding it hard to string a sentence together today for whatever reason. I noticed conversations that were please don't jog the camera.
Sorry.
I noticed conversations that were going down, and conversations that were going down were revolving around the topic of this coyote being at the far end of the dog park, where the mountains are.
So that's why everybody was down the other end.
Yeah, saying things like, look at that coyote, look how brazen he is, just sitting there on the edge of the dog park. And I couldn't see a coyote, but I thought, well, I'll continue on my way, and if I see the coyote, then I'll try and put Niko on a leash. Anyway, I get to the very end of the dog park, and I'm literally on my own. All the other dogs in there are down the gate end. And then I'm like, where is this coyote? I can't see it. And then all of a sudden, I turn a corner, and there it is, literally sitting 10 feet away on the edge of the dog park. A very good-looking coyote, I hasten to add. And then I called Niko over, and I started sort of rummaging for his treats in my pocket. And then I was just about to get a treat out and try and
Put his leash on?
Grab his attention and then put the leash on. And then, for whatever reason, the coyote at this point decided to up sticks and just like disappear into the foliage. And at which point Niko decided, yep, I'm going to give chase here. And my first instinct was just like, well, let him do it. He'll chase the coyote, and then he'll get bored at some point and come back. That was kind of my first instinct. But then my mind got into like, well, what are all those people thinking about me just allowing my dog just to like run off into the undergrowth and disappear like this? I should probably go after him, or at least make some effort to look like I should go after him. And anyway, so I ran after him in hot pursuit, and I was shouting out his name, Niko. And then other people in the park were shouting out Niko, and they sounded like really anxious and concerned. So I thought, I better make an effort here. So I got caught up in the mob mentality. So I got about, I don't know, 50 yards up the side of the hill. And at this point, I kind of like, no one could see me. I was just like in dense foliage, which was really, most of it was kind of bracken, gorse, whatever you call it, I don't know. But I was certainly getting all scratched up. And then I found this little sort of pocket. I'll just sort of stay here and wait, because I could hear Niko running around in the bushes. And I was yelling out his name, more people yelling out his name. Then some other guy starts coming up the hill. A good Samaritan obviously felt like he needed to help me. So I decided, well, I better make more of an effort here. But at this point, I couldn't hear Niko anymore running through the bushes. So I managed to rendezvous with this good Samaritan, and we literally found out, and he told me that he and the other people had seen Niko get to the top of the mountain. All they saw was this little white spot at the top of the mountain.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, oh my God. And this guy was super fit and agile. So he's like, obviously he was looking for the opportunity to get a workout in. And I'm kind of getting exhausted. I'm running through, I needed a machete basically. And so then we literally get to the top of the mountain, and I hear a distant voice saying, he's here, he's back here. Niko's here. Like, great, that's at least some good news. But then the bad news was that we didn't know how to find out. We were so concerned to get to the top of the mountain. We really hadn't, like, you know, traced our pathway up there. So getting back down was almost impossible because we couldn't find the path. So I literally went on in one direction, like fighting my way through all the bushes, and then got to a point where I could go no further. Then I had to come back. So literally, probably Niko disappeared for maybe 15 minutes. And it took me about another 20, I think, to get back down. Trying to find a pathway. And the bloody dog was just like...
Was he happy to see you?
No, he was like, where have you been? What have you been doing? He's like getting on with his dog park business. But the moral to this tale...
Yes, what's the moral?
The moral to this tale is that I could have just quite as easily followed my instinct, remained where I was. Niko would have given chase to this coyote. And then, you know, would kind of come back under his own devices, which is obviously what he did. And I wouldn't have had to go through all that turmoil. But it was just a case of me getting caught up in what other people think. Caught up in not following my first instinct, not following my wisdom, kind of getting caught up in that sort of... I got caught up with my ego. I've got to, you know, really like... I've got to demonstrate that I'm a conscientious, responsible dog owner and go and find my dog in the mountains in case he's going to get savaged by a pack of coyotes, which I guess that was the prevailing sentiment. But he's a pretty big dog, and I don't think, really, at the end of the day, any coyote worth its salt would go anywhere near him.
I don't know, but I guess what you're saying is that you kind of knew that it would be best to stay there.
Yes.
But you didn't want to look bad.
Exactly.
And I think we can all relate to that we get caught up in worrying about what other people think and looking like a bad dog owner or a bad parent or a bad human on some level. And then we get self-conscious and don't listen to what really is common sense.
Yeah. And the funniest part of it all was that I eventually got to a pocket between the bushes and the trees and the bracken where I thought, no one can see me, I'll just wait here. And then this
the Good Samaritan comes along.
Appears from nowhere. Let's go find this dog.
Did he say that?
No, but that was obviously his intention. And so I ended up following him up the hill.
He sounds like quite a fit Good Samaritan.
He was a very fit Good Samaritan.
I wish I'd been there to see it.
Yes, you would have got some serious steps in, let me tell you that.
Well, I missed all the excitement. The good news is Niko is fine.
But I am all scratched up.
Poor Angus is all scratched
and my
up.
clothing is just filled with like seeds and twigs and God knows what else.
Well, at least you're safe.
Yeah.
And he got a birthday treat.
He got a big birthday treat.
He got a taste of the wild.
He did.
Well, have a great weekend, everybody.
Have a great
weekend.
Take care.
Bye. Bye.